Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV Sports Spotlight. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from some of our shows focused on all things sports in the DMV. Please be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. First on Legacy Maker Sports, Richmond Spiders sports broadcaster Craig Kocher joins the show to discuss life, sports, and more. Then on Ravens Verdict, check out the sights, sounds, and press conferences from the latest Ravens training camp. Lastly, on Washington Commanders Update, tune into the insights on the first unofficial depth chart from Candi Waller on all Burgundy and Gold Errrything. Don't go anywhere, and as always, enjoy this week's episode of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I got my man with me today, Craig Kocher, in the building. Craig, I hope I did well on the picture and on the cover art. I was trying to make sure I had you looking as cool as possible in there. I got my man right in the action. I couldn't help myself.
Very well done. Very well done.
Well, once again, everybody, we're so glad to have Craig Kocher here. He is a professional sports broadcaster. He's a school chaplain for Richmond, for the Richmond University of Richmond. And so, Craig, once again, brother, we're so glad to have you here.
Darrell, thanks so much for having me. I've so enjoyed getting to know you in these recent years and getting to broadcast games with you as well. It's been a real delight for me. And so I'm happy to talk to you on the podcast today.
So glad. But, we're going to go ahead and get this bad boy started. Before we get all that going, we got to start off with our first segment, and that is the check-in. All right. So, Craig, in the check-in, we like to check in on you, your family, your friends. How is life right now for Craig Kocher?
Thanks for asking. Life's good for me, Darrell. The summer's a little bit slower with my work for the university because school isn't in session, and so it's just a little bit slower. I've got two girls, ages 13 and 10, and my wife and I have been able to travel with them a little bit this summer for a vacation at the beach, and I took one of them camping up in the mountains for a few days. I was able to play some pickleball today with some friends over at the University of Richmond courts. Exercise we all know is good for the body and the mind and the soul, and so it was good to play some pickleball today. And then before we got on, I was just reading with my youngest daughter. We're reading a book together, and I've really enjoyed that. So life's good. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for asking. I hope life's good for you too.
Man, I can't complain. Always running, always busy. Just trying to stay out of trouble. That's the biggest thing. To try to stay out of trouble. Try to be a good role model here and there. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. And Craig, how did you do in the pickleball game? Did that go well for you today? Did you win? Did you lose? How'd that go?
So the way we play it is pickleball is generally a doubles game, more than singles. So there are four of us who played, and we play 6 games. So everybody partners with everybody else twice.
Got you.
And I did fine. It was kind of a 500.
Okay, we'll take 500.
It was fine. But more importantly, one of the reasons I like pickleball is because it's both good exercise and it's a great social experience because you get to do it with friends, and you get exercise as a part of it, and so you get to talk a little bit between each game. And so I did fine. Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, of course. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Your passion of sports. I want to know, when you were 7, 8, 9 years old, how did Craig at that age fall in love with sports? What made you fall in love with sports? Who made you fall in love with sports?
Darrell, I grew up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and that is, it's true blue basketball heaven. Basketball is just in the bloodstream of the whole culture. And so I grew up in that environment. My dad was really into sports. And so from an early age, he got my brother and I involved in playing basketball in the driveway, and we'd throw the football in the front yard, and we would play baseball during the springtime, and played quite a lot of soccer at that time. Growing up too, is a pretty popular sport for, as it still is, for kids. And it became a way, I think, for my dad and I to bond, for my dad and my brother and I It's a bond. My mom would always come to our games. She was very supportive too. And I think it just became a kind of a language of connection, something that we all enjoyed doing together. My friends, we enjoyed doing it together. And then for us, the big sport in Chapel Hill was college basketball. It was Carolina basketball. Yeah. And so we watched, this is before we got cable. Cable was a big deal when we finally got it. It was a big deal. But when we finally got it, when I was kind of in grade school, and then most of the games were on ESPN, and then we could watch just about all the games, I think that's when it really took off. And that's probably when my interest in broadcasting took off as well.
Yeah, see, and there you go. Say, with you saying that, I want you to kind of take us on a journey from the point where you knew broadcasting was going to be this okay, this is the moment. The broadcasting is going to be my love, or one of my loves, I should say, and kind of take us on that journey to how you got from there to where you are right now in your career as a school chaplain, as a broadcaster.
Yeah, it's quite a journey. I feel really fortunate that in my work at the university, I get to do three things that I really care deeply about. I'm the chaplain of the university, which means I'm kind of the pastor to the campus, and I really care about that ministry and helping young people in their spiritual lives and young people as they go through challenging things in their lives, and mentoring young people. I love that. I do some teaching at the university, and I really always enjoyed teaching. And then this broadcasting thing. So the broadcasting thing was really my first love. In high school, I started interning at our local AM radio station. It was the station in Chapel Hill that carried all the Carolina sports, so basketball, women's basketball, football, baseball. And I started just as an intern in high school. Basically showed up and said, "Hey, what can I do?" And this is before certainly in the infancy of the internet. So, I was a board op, an overnight board op, and I'd go to town council meetings with a tape recorder.
Oh no!
Come back, and I'd pull cuts, and then my freshman year in college, I went to a small school in Ohio that had a really good broadcasting program called Otterbein College, now Otterbein University. And I got a lot of experience on the radio broadcasting games. So I got a lot of experience doing small college basketball, small college football, small college baseball, high school football, high school basketball, got a lot of experience. And then I transferred back to UNC in large part because I just kind of was the right place at the right time, just kind of lucked into it, had an opportunity to become the play-by-play voice for the UNC women's basketball program. And later it became also for the UNC baseball program. And I did this was all radio at the time, and did some pregame work for the football team and some halftime work for the men's basketball team. And it was just this incredible opportunity that I got at a very young age. I was 20 years old. Again, right place, right time. The person who was doing the games before me left. They needed somebody quickly. They needed somebody cheap, which was I think. And I had some experience at that point, and I loved it. I loved it. In fact, the first game I ever broadcast for the UNC women's basketball program was in way back in 1995. I'm dating myself now. This is 30 years ago. And it was in Richmond, Virginia. At the old Coliseum. There was one of those tournaments type things, preseason kind of tournaments, and UNC played Connecticut in Richmond. That was
wow.
First game, and Connecticut won by 30. But and I loved it, and I did that for several years, and then Darrell, my life began to take a different shape. I began to think about, as young people do, what do I really want to do in my life? And I love sports, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to make sports broadcasting my life as much as I enjoyed it. And I was very active in my church growing up, and I began to think seriously about ministry as a part of my life. So I went to divinity school, and I went to Duke, which was really hard for a Tar Heel.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I was like, wait a minute, this is tough.
Yeah, that was really hard for a Tar Heel to do. But I went to divinity school, and while I was in divinity school, I continued with some of the broadcasting, but not at the same level as I had been. So I continued doing some games, some women's basketball games for Carolina, some baseball games for Carolina. But at that point, I was really focused on my theological studies, my ministerial preparation. And then once I finished divinity school, which was a 3-year program, so I've been broadcasting at that point for 7 years, and I loved it. But at that point, I moved to Davidson, North Carolina, and I had a position at a church in Davidson, and the broadcasting stuff just fell to the background.
Right.
You know, I was focused on other parts. I had recently gotten married and was in Davidson for a couple of years. Then I came back and I worked as one of the chaplains at Duke University. So that was my next job. And I love being at Duke. It was a great experience. But again, I wasn't doing the broadcasting stuff. I was still following ACC sports and Duke sports, Carolina sports, but I wasn't doing the broadcasting stuff. Then I came to the University of Richmond, and this was in 2009. So again, this is a while ago. 2009, as the chaplain for the university. And I feel so fortunate to be at Richmond. And I became a Spider like that. I fell in love with the university. One of my first memories as a kid of the University of Richmond was watching the Spiders men's basketball team beat Syracuse in a big upset in the NCAA tournament. And I knew about that great reputation of Richmond basketball. And as I showed up, Richmond football was very good too. But I was really focused on my pastoral work, my chaplaincy work, my teaching. And then a few years back, Bob Black, who I think maybe you've had on this program too.
Yes. All the way back in season 1. Yeah. A long time ago.
Yeah, and of course, Bob is a legend in Richmond sports. He's has been broadcasting Richmond sports for 40 years. Well, he knew of my background. And as Richmond began to expand our offerings on ESPN Plus, women's basketball and baseball and all these sports on ESPN Plus, he asked me if I might want to do some games. Now, I hadn't done games in years, but he knew of that. And I thought, I'm at a point now where I think I would like to do that. It's not going to be my primary vocation, as they say, my career, but I loved it. I still love it, and it was at a point where I thought, I could do this kind of as a side hobby, if you will, and so 4 or 5 years ago, I started doing some of our women's basketball games and some of our baseball games for Richmond. I got to know you and so many others, and I just feel really fortunate, Darrell, to be at a school, be in a community like Richmond, a school like Richmond, where I get to live out these dual loves. I mean, this love of ministry and that calling to the religious life, spiritual life, pastoral life, and teaching, and this really cool thing that I did for so long when I was younger, and for a long time believed it was going to be my life, which was this broadcasting thing. And I've discovered there are a lot of similarities between the two. How do you communicate with people? How do you tell a story? How do you invite people into what's going on? How do you express yourself in a way that people can understand? How do you, narrate what you see in front of you? There's a lot of similarities between, preaching and ministry and teaching and broadcasting. Honestly, there's a lot of translatable skills. So that's brought me to the present day and getting to know you and getting to work with you. And it's been really special.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, I know from my perspective, like, when we got a chance to do our first broadcast together, one thing, and it's the same thing I told Robin and the same thing I told Blaine, I felt like, when you come in this industry, sometimes you think people will gatekeep and they don't want you to be a part of it. Or you in my mind, I thought going in, because I didn't have the schooling that a lot of people have. I had to try to, create my path another way. School unfortunately wasn't in the cards for me at some point. And I knew I was like, this is what I've always wanted to do. And so for social media, shout out to social media for that one reason. It gave me the opportunity to do what I've always wanted to do, or opportunity to do the things I wanted to do. And so when I met, yourself and Robin and Blaine, I never thought, and Bob, of course, I thought that this would be an industry where it's like, oh, this is so many select jobs and nobody's going to really want to, they're not going to want to help me. And no, it has not been that. That's the one experience I will say being at Richmond has been amazing because everybody is so helpful. Nobody's ever like giving me any weird energy. They've tried to help me along the way, and they don't know how much they help me because I sit and I listen to you guys. I get a chance to listen to you guys, destroy it on the mic every opportunity, and I'm just sitting there listening and soaking it all in. And I'll leave games thinking, I'm like, man, how blessed am I to be able to do this? I mean, when I was 10 years old, I remember saying, I'm gonna be on ESPN one day. Well, this opportunity got me on ESPN. And even it may not be, I guess, in some people's eyes, the mainstream ESPN, but no, this means just as much to me as it would if I was on the Sports Center anchor. Like that the logo's there, and it's been an opportunity that I've cherished. Like I remember the first game I did, I thought I'm gonna say I was gonna cry, but it was just like I was so in shock that this is happening right now. But it's the people that have really made it easy for me. Yourself and the others have been so kind, so amazing. So I appreciate y'all. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. People say, "Oh, you sucking up." You can say whatever you want. I know what my experience has been, and it's been amazing. It's thanks to you guys. It's been awesome.
Well, you do a great job for one. I mean, it makes it easy when you have such a talented, colleague and friend to work with. But also, I really admire the path you've taken on this, Darrell. I really do. You're creating your own brand. You're creating your own content. You're putting yourself out there. And I just really admire that. And that kind of effort, it pays off, and you make connections and you develop opportunities, and it pays off. And I think, different from when I was doing those games, when I was in college and graduate school for, at UNC, then, the internet was in its infancy. I mean, we had kind of a radio stream on the internet, but the web portal to get there was so long and convoluted that people couldn't find it, and it was the technology was hard, and this was pre-social media and all that, and so there weren't many avenues.
Right.
There just weren't many avenues, and now what you're doing with your work is you're creating avenues, you're creating opportunities, you're creating a brand, you're creating connections, and I really admire that. I think that's the pathway in today's world. That's the path.
Like I said, and I appreciate that because, like I said, the biggest thing is having you guys approve. That's been like one of my biggest things. I and knowing that you guys have appreciated that's what's meant the most to me. Like anybody else could say, oh well, no, I said no. I said these guys have shown me so much and have been so kind and have helped me along the way and have taught me little nuances. It's so much that I could go into on that end, but no, it's truly appreciated. And that's why I said, like, that's what makes this, industry so amazing. You get to tell the story, you get to, give your opinion, and you get to, give something for the audience to kind of like, soak into. So it wasn't that, there's still times that I'm very critical of myself, but I'll hear people come up and say, hey man, I heard you on the broadcast the other night. That was you guys sounded great. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So I must be doing all right. Like I'll never forget when, what's our girl name? Oh my God, I'm having a flash, but she came over there. I don't know why I'm having a moment. Number 3. Oh man, she's going to beat me up for this if I ever, our girl, the speed demon on the court.
Are you talking about?
Oh, why is it messing with me? I just can't believe it.
Are you talking about Alicia Newell?
Alicia Newell. There you go. Alicia, please don't beat me up, Alicia.
Number 3. Yeah.
Yeah, Alicia came to me after one game and she said, this means the world to me. But she came to me after the game and she's like, I came over to thank you because my dad told me that he listens to the broadcast and he said you always show me in a positive light. And I truly, truly appreciate it. And my dad told me to say thank you. And I said, well, you do the job on the court. I'm just, my style of broadcasting isn't to bring you down. Right. It's to pick you up. So and that's, that made me feel good. But that's when I knew, I said, you guys have helped me get to the right spot. So I'll always be appreciative.
Oh, well, that means so much when a player or a parent, comes. I mean, the way that I think about our role when we're broadcasting those games, we're trying to tell the story of what's happening. And I keep in mind that the people who are watching these games, many of them, some large percentage of them, know these players.
Exactly.
These are family members. These are friends. And for both teams.
Exactly.
Broadcasting. We broadcast home games for Richmond, which means we've got a pretty big audience from George Mason or whoever we happen to be playing that night, because those fans and those players couldn't travel and those family members couldn't travel, so they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it's our job to, we need to be, good journalists. If a player, makes a boneheaded mistake, we don't want to just say, "Oh,
she'll be better next time."
Yeah, exactly. Say, hey, that wasn't a very good pass. But we also remember that we're talking about people's lives. We're talking about people's friendships. We're talking about people's relationships, and we do, I think, want to tell the story of the game in a way that brings out the best in the players and the best in the game, rather than a way that's trying to, knock people off the perch.
Yeah, I think.
first side, and then Tucker had done the field goal to 66 yards. That was cool what it did.
How long have you been playing?
Thanks.
Yeah, if you want to.
I'm trying not to. What's your ball?
Money. How are you? Awesome. Good. Did you have fun today? Hi, how are you?
I love that.
I'll just go with this.
Right into it.
Yeah, I think that he's a special talent. You know, obviously there's not very many guys in the league that can do what he does. The vision for him in the offense is an immense role, obviously. I don't want to put a number on the amount of targets because obviously, like, as you look at every single week, every week is different. You want to be able to deploy things in different ways. And at the same point in time, like, he's going to have a pretty large workload. You know, I was telling the offensive staff, like, how cool it is when you call a run play and you're a first-time play caller, you call a run play and Derrick Henry's the running back. And you're like, all right, this is, odds of this working are a lot higher. And so I've really enjoyed being around Derrick. Derrick has, taken on a leadership role within the offense. Been really, not pleasantly surprised, but just really happy with the work that he puts in every day. He embodies, what we're trying to be. He's a great example for his teammates, and I've just really enjoyed being around him.
Declan, we talked to most of the tight end yesterday. Do you feel like there's still a lot for you to see there in terms of figuring out how you're going to deploy all those guys, or do you already feel like you have a pretty set idea, or where are you with that?
Yeah, I would say that nothing is set. We're still a month away from, that first snap against Indy. Over time, roles kind of play themselves out as we continue the install and introduce different concepts and things and ask guys to be in different spots. Like, today you're watching us do short yardage, and we're figuring out who those guys are that we can trust in situations like that. They're very technical. They're very specific to defensive structures and jobs that you're doing. We're going to ask everybody to kind of do it, take their swing at it, and then we'll figure out and reshape from there. The tight end position, because they really have a role in pass game protection and the run game, those are a lot of jobs to have to evaluate. And so I certainly have a vision of utilizing that position, and yet at the same point in time, who's doing which role, that kind of sorts itself out over time.
Declan, you haven't shied away from the fact that you're a first-time play caller. How much are you looking forward to just getting live reps, so to speak, for yourself, in addition to seeing what you're offering?
I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to watch our guys play. That's the number one thing. But, I mean, it's going to be the first time being able to sit there and call our offense. And, I'm excited for it. There's nothing that can simulate, a Saturday or a Sunday and your guys going out there and playing ball.
What are your expectations for the guys, knowing that you won't have your full allotment of personnel? What are you looking for?
We're looking for technique. We're looking for guys that know what to do. That's really the like Sean Payton used to talk about. We can't really evaluate you until you know what to do. And then once you know what to do, then we can evaluate how you're doing it. We're trying to put our guys in position to execute things that they've had a lot of reps on. We don't want to overcomplicate it for them. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable and, a clear mind is a fast mind. And so fast mind, fast body. So trying to give them a game plan they feel good about. But really we just want to see them let it rip. Like let's play with speed off the ball. Let's do the things that, we embody. How we play is so much more important than any scheme that we run. And we want to see that on the tape. You would like to come in on Sunday and be able to watch the tape, and regardless of, whether it's a guy who we project as a two, a guy that is a back end guy, we want all those guys to play our brand of football.
Yeah, you guys have had Has on for about 2 weeks now, and what have you seen from the centers that are involved in the center competition, and what are you hoping to see out of these guys in the center?
I think the number one thing with the center position in our offense is the communication aspect. That's number one. All those guys are doing a good job of both communicating to their teammates, also leading in certain ways. I'm feeling a lot more of like we run a play and we're coming off and the center is talking to those around him now, which is something that wasn't happening as much in the spring. And so we're still a ways away from being able to determine exactly who that guy is. Obviously Ethan's coming off of that injury, and so we want to make sure it's a fair battle. But all those guys are doing a good job with the offense. I'll let Jesse handle any of the injury or availability questions. But Austin Reed was out there today. I had him in Chicago. Excited to have him in the room with us, and I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Declan, the Bears last year, really high pass rate on second and short, aggressive on fourth downs. Can you talk about your approach to those situations, specifically those second and short those looks for explosive plays?
Yeah, I think that's an area that it can define play callers in some ways as to how you have tendencies. You try to not have tendencies anywhere you are. But there are times like 2nd and 1, I've been around guys where they're going to say, hey, let's just go get the first down and let's get on to the next one. It can be viewed, in other ways as like, hey, let's take an opportunity right here to go after the defense. Worst case, we trust our quarterback and we throw a ball away. It's 3rd and 1.
Well, fortunately, I think we have a bunch of good ones, right? Expect those guys and prayers go up for those guys. Hope that they can be back as soon as possible. But we have a lot of good ones. I think TJ Tampa's had a tremendous camp. It's good to see BK back out there, right? 31 out there making plays. We have guys that Cheeto. Let's not forget him. There's a bunch of guys I think that could step in if needed. But yeah, we'd love to have those guys out there, man. Again, thoughts and prayers that they get back as fast as they can.
What have you seen from TJ Tampa throughout camp that makes you say that about him?
Yeah, he's found the ball, right? He's made plays on the ball, which ultimately that's always what you're looking at for a corner. And he goes out and competes every day. He's one of those guys where if he does make a mistake, he very rarely makes the same mistake twice. And that's all you're asking for with any football player. So he has all the skill sets to be whatever he wants to be. It's just a matter of just going out there and be consistently good and not occasionally great. And we've seen that from him.
How have you been checking in with Matt BK as he's in this kind of in-between period where he's been on the field for a while,
yeah,
but he's still not involved in everything?
Yeah. Well, we go out there and we do a little bit of indie work during position drills, and I'm constantly talking to Matt Beeks. I told him last time I was up here and I called him Justin, I apologized. Okay, he said I was okay. I was like, I got to get used to that. So me and Nnamdi are in constant communication. He looks phenomenal. I know he's doing everything he can to be back out there, and when he is out there, I expect him to look like the Nnamdi we've grown to know and love throughout the years.
When it comes to the game day itself, the coordinator for not calling the plays during the game, what are your responsibilities? What are you trying to approach? What are you on Saturday?
To be determined, right? This will be my first time doing it. So, fortunately, we have 3 dress rehearsals here. I'm still going to try to figure out exactly what that is and where I can be most helpful to help the team, and what I can do for Jess to help him on game day too. So that's a work in progress. And just another thing I look forward to trying to attack, right? And just making sure that I'm not wasting the wisdom and that I've had gathered throughout the years on the sideline. I'm going to find a way to help the team on Saturdays and Sundays.
Do you plan on being right next to him throughout the game? Is that the plan?
Well, I'm not going to hold the red flag if that's what you're asking. Jesse, we throwing this? No. We'll see. We have headsets, right? So I don't have to be right next to him. Jesse's going to have a bunch of other things on his plate. So I imagine most of the work that I can help the guys with will be in between series and essentially trying to make sure whatever we see, both from a head coaching perspective and a coordinator perspective, I can deliver that message to the guys and make sure that it's all getting done.
Our rule is everybody got to know every single position because the more you can do, and that's our motto. So everybody got to know every single spot on special teams.
As a coach, Anthony, we've heard Declan's going to be upstairs, downstairs, calling plays during the preseason. Is there something you're working on as a first-time coach in a preseason game on Saturday? Something that
yeah. We go out here at practice and we work hard, work on our techniques, work on our fundamentals. So on Sunday, what I want to see these guys do, I want to see these guys use the fundamentals, use the techniques, play fast, play physical, and go out there and have fun. Because now it's their time to go out there, have fun, and to show what they can do so they can stay in this league and play in this league. So what I want to see them do and what we're working on, we want to make sure that we hone in on our fundamentals, working on our techniques, make sure we plan together, and go out there, have fun, and make plays.
I think it was last preseason when LeJohante Western, his first game, had a long touchdown return. How have you seen LeJohante progress as a returner from his rookie year to now?
Oh, well, he's getting better at catching the ball, getting vertical, playing off his blocks, but also, too, is the blockers. You know, LeJohante does a good job of setting up the blockers, but also the blockers does a great job as well. So the thing is, with the progression, they all have to be as one. You know, the blockers got to block, the returner's got to return. So with them just being together and we working on that, those guys being together and being connected, so we got to make sure that it all goes hand in hand, but we're doing a great job of those guys just playing together.
Tyler's been pretty on point throughout camp, especially the last couple of practices. What have you thought about his consistency?
Man, being consistent, working hard. Coach Randy Brown does a great job with him. I mean, he's out there teaching them. The operation is going great. His steps are great. His foot-to-ball contact has been great. So all Randy doing is staying with him, staying consistent. He's keep working at it. He's studying it. So right now, we are very happy with where Luke is at right now.
How much when you use Saturdays, like, experimentation at kickoffs and things like that? I know it's something that went through last year. You guys kind of have your plan already for how you want to handle those.
Well, right now what we want to do is it's not really about experimenting. Right now I want these guys to go out there and just play fast and play physical and go out there and have fun. So everything is real. I don't want to say simple, but we're going to put the ball out there for them to go out there and hunt and make tackles and make plays.
What have you liked about getting to know Ethan Burke?
Say that one more time.
What have you liked about getting to know Burke?
Oh, man. I mean, Burke, I love his physicality. I love the way he plays. I love the way he works. I mean, Ethan Burke has been nothing but a great spot. I think he'll be able to help us out. So we'll see how he plays on Saturday.
To show this, he was part of training camp.
I really just wanted to show like I'm reliable and I'm here to put the work in. I'm here to show up when my time is needed.
You won't remember plays. How validating is it when you're able to make those plays and kind of prove to the coaching staff what you're able to do?
It's very validated, just listening to the coaches coming with the new scheme and listening to them and them helping me make plays, so that's always good.
TJ, how do you think getting your feet wet towards the end of the season, having your first career pick, kind of helped when you're going into your offseason?
It helps a lot. Experience is everything. Just getting those reps, getting the high rep counts, and it's just helping being more comfortable and seeing stuff happen.
TJ, we've seen you be extremely physical. One of the first things I noticed was you hammering away on the sled early on. And how much do you have to hold yourself back in these light contact practices and that from at the catch point being physical with the football?
It's just what you do for a living. I've been doing this since college, just having those practices, being able to not be as violent, and when the time comes where it is to be violent, then just show up.
So you go against Jacoby earlier.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the rookie? You're seeing him up close. What do you see?
It's very good, just being really competitive. He comes down with a lot of contested catches, and that's good for us, and it's good for him. And he's helping the team out, just helping him get better, and him helping me get better.
TJ, where do you feel like in your game you've made the biggest strides from last year to this year?
I would just say, like I said, getting those rep counts, being more comfortable with the position, knowing my leverage, knowing what everybody else on the team is doing on the defense, and just playing towards my help.
Is your understanding that Jesse wants to roll his corners and kind of rotate those guys? And what is your expectation for what your role can be? Because there's other great corners, Nate, Marlon, another guy, Cheeto. What's your expectation for your role?
I know I have a big role on special teams, and that's what it is. But I am focused on defense and just making that one of the main things, and just showing up there and not letting it be a decline when the twos come in.
You think back to a couple of years ago as a rookie at this point in the camp versus now, the experiences. What is different for you? What stands out, and what have you improved the most in?
Coming in as a rookie, everything is new. You're trying to be comfortable, you're trying to learn people, you're trying to learn plays, and just having all that in the back of my mind, already knowing the plays, just helping me play a little bit faster.
TJ, Jesse's former secondary coach. They had Mike Mickens come in this offseason. How's their approach been different to how you've been coached in the past?
Definitely more detailed, I would say. Just always playing toward leverage and playing, knowing where your help is, and just playing to your strength of the defense.
We have to dive in. We got to knock out some logistics. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Hit us up on X, IG, and TikTok at ABG_Errrything. Also, like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe to the All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel. And also, please subscribe to the Bowie TV YouTube channel as well. If you're in the YouTube chat, we accept Super Chats. Super Chats help us support our shows. Other Super Chats will be prioritized over all comments in the chat. All right, let's get to our rundown. We'll talk about day 10 of Commanders training camp, which includes Brandon Coleman playing left tackle and the unofficial depth chart that came out today. All right, Ken, I'm gonna start with you. Obviously we talked about it. The whole world knows. There's no need to dive into it. In terms of Laramie Tunsil being hurt towards tricep, and it looks like he'll be out for most of the season or maybe all the season. And we have Brandon Coleman at left tackle in his place. He was there today playing left tackle. And everybody who knows me knows that, I thought he had a fantastic rookie year playing left tackle before he got hurt, and then his play started dwindling when he got hurt. But I thought he played well playing as a rookie playing left tackle. But so from what you saw today and probably about his body of work, do you think he's capable of protecting Jaden Daniels' blind side, or should they go elsewhere and maybe try to get somebody outside of the Commanders organization?
I mean, I think so. I think that was, it's like all power to depth, right? Mm-hmm. And you see where it matters to have that versatility and where it makes sense. I think he's going to be fine. I'm not going to say that he's, I'm not, projecting, leaps and bounds and all of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It is what it is. I agree with you, Ole. I was very pleased and impressed with Brandon Coleman his rookie season at left tackle. I thought it was great. I mean, it's hard not to be pleased, right? Based on the overall success of the team that season. But I mean, I just want to put this out there. I was so unhappy when I heard about Laramie's injury. I mean, I know I was watching 7-on-7 when it happened. I did, use my clues to understand, after that, okay, this is not, I think online, a lot of folks were talking about it was a stinger or whatever. I knew, before I left practice that it was not good. It was beyond stinger. And I just unfortunately also knew that even though I was going to take off to go be with my family, I had to keep my phone with me because it was going to be made public, before the night was over, just exactly what it was. So shout out to Laramie Tunsil, man. Like, he's a good dude. You hate to see anybody get injured. But I think, today at practice, I think, Brandon was fine. I mean, I saw in the team drills. I mean, he's familiar with the space. He's familiar with the spot. So him and Chris Paul next to each other, I'm anxious to see what it continues to look like, right? I mean, I'm already, like you all know, I've been saying this since Friday. Just somebody get me to Wednesday. Somebody get me to, joint practice. Like I said, I made the question to Coach Quinn this morning, which was, I couldn't think of the head coach name. Then I was like, have you talked to Miami's head coach? I mean, what are we doing on Wednesday? What's going on? And so, he said that they talked, and I know there's a lot of injury news, right? Because I know at some point we probably talk about Trey Amos as well.
Yeah. But
I think Brandon will be fine. But let's see what happens on Wednesday. Let's see. He's going to need those reps at left tackle. So now it's like there is no left guard competition.
Yeah.
Right. The left. Now your offensive line is set except for the center. Right.
Yeah.
So, but you need a backup because then it becomes who's going to back up Brandon? Who's going to back up Chris?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Andrew Wiley was tried and they worked him at that left tackle spot as well. But there's Brandon's spot right now.
Folks, want to take the floor? George, George.
Yeah, it's definitely Brandon's spot. I'm glad they moved Brandon there because Andrew Wiley's name did come up, right? It was a consideration. But if you knew back then, we don't want to open the floodgates because that bad boy will open gates. But again, go back to Brandon Coleman's 2024 season as a rookie with the prolific offense that we had in 2024. He didn't give up many sacks. He did well. He had some growing pains. But I think I like the move too because there was a lot of people out there. Well, why don't you just move Connolly to the left? You don't want to disturb his progress. His progress right now, being the right back, is where he's supposed to be at. You have a guy on the roster who played it, was Brandon Coleman, which I thought was great. You want Chris obviously you like Chris Paul because you brought him back, right? So go ahead and plug Chris Paul in that position that you had. And the only thing, like I said, I think somebody just said it, we're missing that centerpiece. And I'm excited about Wednesday now, Candi, much more so because now it's like you get to see other people, right? Things get to fly a little bit. Now we already know that this offensive line had depth, so now we need to get some more depth because we down to slim pickings, right? There are some good offensive linemen out there the older linemen who are out there that haven't been picked up yet, that you can bring in for depth. But again, that left tackle position is pivotal. That left tackle position is very important. And when you have a cornerstone like Larry Tunsil, who was that cornerstone last year, all-pro, should have been all-pro. Tackle, should have been all-pro tackle. When you have that there and you got a healthy Jaden Daniels who protects his back and you want to keep Jaden Daniels healthy, right? You need to put the best person back there, and the best person there is Brandon Coleman. So within your organization right now. Somebody who knows Jaden, knows the players, know the other guys on the line. They build that cohesiveness as a unit, as a group, as the lineman. Know the offensive line coach. Bringing somebody else in is going to take much longer process. So I think Coleman was the right there. Sucks for Larry Tunsil. Because you just got $66 million, right? Nobody wants to see the $66 million man hurt. And let's be honest, right? Adam Peters don't want to see the $66 million man hurt. Dan Quinn doesn't want to see the $66 million man hurt. Your teammates don't, because again, when you
Jaden Daniels don't want to see that man hurt.
Yeah, that's right. Jaden Daniels don't want to see that man hurt. So again, you have that guy who was I believe all last year didn't give up a sack. Right? He's so good at what he does. We talked about that's like, some of the other left tackles getting hurt, Trent Williams, getting hurt, things of that nature. It makes a big difference on your team. And so now these guys are maulers. I need them to continue to be maulers and run the football, right? Run the football and let Jaden get the ball out of his hands quickly. But I think left tackle can be okay.
George?
All right.
First things first, anything we can do to make sure that we never see Andrew Wiley playing left tackle, I'm for. So if that means signing a backup and relegating him to, say, backup guard, I'm for that first. Secondly, Phil W., he asked Candi, and I want to answer this because I feel like I understand why Peters did it. The reason Adam Peters traded for Laremy Tunsil is that, one, he got the inside scoop that a guy like that was available at a price that was pretty reasonable. Normally, somebody of Laremy Tunsil's quality isn't available. And they're coming off a conference championship game. So where I think maybe he would have, if they were, say, a 7-11, 8-9, 9-8 kind of team, he might have said, you know what? I'll just stick with Tunsil and I'll keep the draft picks because we're building something anyway. He makes a deal like that because he's going for a championship. And I think he feels like he's got to make a move that says we're going for a championship. So that's why I think he did that. I think if things had gone differently the rookie year, he isn't. Number two, Washington may be the best equipped team to take a loss like this imaginable. I don't know if anybody else, any other team has a backup left tackle who played every game as a rookie and did a pretty good job on a team that ended up one win away from the Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels is familiar with Brandon Coleman, so he will know, how if he has to slide protection, help, bring help to help Coleman and all this. I'm confident that Coleman can improve from his rookie year, even though he hadn't played the position for a year. Because to me, it's clear as day that's his best position. He is a much better left tackle than he is a guard, and a much better left tackle than any other position we tried him at, because I think we tried him at right tackle too.
They really didn't try him at right tackle. They didn't try him at right tackle. I heard they really didn't try him at right tackle like that. But go ahead though. They didn't try him at right tackle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're in better shape than anything. And I'll just say this. I don't see a scenario where you bring Laramie Tunsil back this year, because if it goes bad, like if Coleman really struggles, this team is probably going to struggle, and you're not going to bring him back if this team is, say, 6-8 with 3 games to go, are you? I don't think you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But if this team is good and Coleman's playing well, do you want to disrupt the chemistry that he and Chris Paul could develop? Because I think that's an interesting dynamic too. They've been battling each other for that spot, and now they're going to be battling together. And I don't know about you guys. I kind of think that that's going to make them a really good pair, because now instead of pushing each other and one's going to take one on the spot, they can push each other both to a spot that they want to keep. I mean, that doesn't mean Brandon Coleman's going to be the left tackle next year here, but he might be the left tackle next year somewhere else if he plays really well, because his trade value is going to go through the roof. So I don't see a scenario where Tunsil comes back, and given that we just paid him a lot of money, I had the same feeling about Cosby when he got hurt. I'm happy redshirting him and saying, see you in 2027, stud, because you're our guy, hopefully for the next 5 years, not just the next year, just giving you a big deal. I don't care what his age is. Tackles who keep themselves in good shape can play late into their 30s, sometimes even their 40s, and be good. So that I want to put that out there too, that I don't think Laramie Tunsil should come back this year, because I just don't see a scenario, unless Coleman gets hurt and Tunsil's well enough to play, that you bring him back this year.
I would say this, like to counter that, like that thought process. Like, for instance, I'll give an example. This is for me. Like, I think when you're the better player. Like, and that's the thing. But I know what you're talking about. You're right, not messing up chemistry. I think that's a valid point. So I don't want to like say it's not a valid point. But let me throw this out there. Say if Marcus Mariota, like Jaden got hurt week 1, week 2, and Marcus Mariota had like a fantastic season, and Marcus Mariota is dealing teams in the playoffs. Jaden's healthy. Do you let Marcus play and not go with Jaden? I would go with Jaden. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's a historical precedent for that. If we can get into.
I know that Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady. I know. No.
I'm going way further back than that.
Which one?
Marty Schottenheimer's Chiefs had something like that with Gerbach, and I'm trying to remember the other quarterback. I think it was Gannon. And he went back to the quarterback who got hurt, and they lost in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I'm just saying
that.
Like, but would you have? I'm saying for you, would you have that same opinion? Like, I'm saying Mariota's, like, how you think? Would Mariota?
I mean, Mariota's dealing. Like,
he got some
Mariota's going to have to have the best year of his career.
But I'm just saying, if he's dealing, like, dealing is dealing. If he's dealing,
and we've got that kind of chemistry going, you don't screw with that. And I go back to the Schottenheimer example with the Chiefs. The Colts in the playoffs doing exactly that, going back to the other quarterback. And like you say, and with Jaden, it's the same thing as he's our quarterback for the next 10 years. So if he gets that kind of an injury, you don't rush him back, because he's our quarterback for the next 10 years.
All right. Well, I'm saying, yeah, but I get your point. But anyway, it's going to be hard, and no disrespect. Like, and I'm saying this as a person who likes Coleman. Like, I love Coleman. I like Coleman's rookie year. It's going to be hard to play at that level. We're talking about a top 5, and especially if Tunsil says he's ready to go. If he says he's ready to go and your team is in a playoff run and he says he's ready to go, it's hard to say no to a guy his caliber to say no, especially when he's one of the 5 best left tackles in football. You know what I mean? You would have to be playing at an elite level. And if he's playing at an elite level, to your point, George, obviously that would be a situation. But then you would have to consider where you put Tunsil at, period. Because there's nobody else better than him on the line. Like, period, other than anybody. So, like, you still need your best players on the line regardless. Whoever that is. Like, even I'll give you an example. When folks went down, Trent didn't play tight. He moved to guard because you still wanted Trent Williams on the football field. Like he shifted to guard because in terms of injury, just to help things out. So I'm just saying you still want your best lineman in the football field. So even to be real with you, Tunsil said he's ready. He's going to be on the line.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's going to be on the line. Like that's not going to change anything. Oh, we got a super chat. Appreciate you, man. Static, you my
Thank you,
God.
Static Shot.
I would say let Jaden play even if Murray. Yeah, of course I would. Definitely. It's Jaden.
You let your superstars play. You let your money men play. I mean, I think it becomes a situation.
But it's a good point, though. George, I want to say George makes a good point, though.
He makes a valid point because it's reality. Because truth be told, it could happen this season, right? Let's be honest. Okay. It could happen. That's a possibility. We saw it happen a couple years ago with Jonathan Allen when he was hurt and Washington gets to the playoffs and Jonathan comes back. You know what I'm saying? So it can be done. We saw Austin Eckler. You know what I'm saying? We thought he was done, and he came back. So. Because Washington had to win the season. We saw last year with Jaden Daniels. Washington had a losing season. They shut that bad boy down.
I mean, they still had him come out there every once in a while.
In my opinion, it was too late when they shut him down. Anyway, he should have been shut down. But that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. So Candi, like, so how's the vibe though? With like, I mean, obviously losing, Tunsil, but in terms of like his leadership, how is that going to be missed? Like his leadership.
It'd be like little stuff.
Okay.
Like, I watched Josh Connolly walk out there by himself and do his pre-practice warm-up by himself. And I was like, oh.
We said, oh.
She said, oh, damn.
I was like, look at Josh. He's walking by himself.
Like he lost his best.
Yeah, I do got another question for you, Candi. I do have a question for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I do have a question. All right. So I know it was thrown out there because I'm like, all right, was Connolly ever thought of to play left tackle? Because this is my thought process. I'm gonna be real.
I think they did ask something like that. Let me get you. Hold on.
Okay.
I mean, keep going.
Oh, because this is my thought process, and I said this, and Felix gave me a good point, he gave me a good explanation for it, so I do agree with him. But I just in terms of my football, just me watching football for years, usually, in my opinion, like your best lineman is your best tackle is your best lineman is literally your left tackle, right? I'm not tripping, right? It's like your best tackle, right?
Yeah. And
Connolly played left tackle in college in Oregon, right? And I get that he's been playing right tackle, and I understand that. But I know even me watching football, all my time watching football, I'll use an example where I remember Chris Samuels would go down, and then John Jansen would switch over to left tackle because John played it a little bit before, but John was the best. He's probably like the best, like in terms of tackle, who's the best available tackle, period. Even Morgan Moses would switch off from right tackle to left tackle at times when Trent went down. So typically, your best tackle plays the left side, especially when we're talking about a right-handed quarterback. Your best tackle plays on the left side. So I'm like interested. I just want to know in terms like how does that look? Like Brandon Coleman is playing left tackle, not Connolly.
I think if my memory serves me correctly, and just and losing Laramie Tunsil is significant. I don't want to just like it is y'all, for real. Like I don't want to. It's
big time.
It's not good. I mean, in transparency's sake, because I like to do that, bring my transparency and authenticity. When I posted, like, Commanders fans, you all go and have yourselves a drink. I said, I'm the media lady, and I'm making myself a drink because it's not what I wanted to say. And so I did it too. It is, if you did, just know I did it as well. And so, but to that point, and I wanted to be accurate, I believe it was late.